Hello all and welcome, and I'm the MGTOW philosopher, and in this video I would like to talk about an article I came across in Pseudo-Psychology Today, called Psychology Today. Of course, I consider psychology to be a pseudoscience. I don't consider it to be a pure science. So let's see what this has to say, written by Michelle Weiner. Michelle Weiner, whatever, her name might as well be Michelle Weiner. And it's entitled The Walk-Away Wife Syndrome. 2/3 of all. Well, please, by the way, the title alone makes me happy. I say, ladies, if you want to walk away, please walk away. I would be very happy if you did that. Then there would be no marriages at all, and then you wouldn't be able to steal our money, and then you wouldn't be able to get our kids and then extort us for child support and get alimony, which is essentially nothing more than money for the past use of a vagina. Oh, but wait, you're not going to really walk away. You're going to get married first, and then you're going to walk away so you get the free goodies. Of course, because you'll never walk away from marriage entirely. You'll only walk away after you get married. Interesting. So let's see what she has to say, shall we? For the past 2 decades, I have devoted myself to helping couples work out their differences in order to keep their marriages and families together. What a bunch of horseshit. By the way, let me just tell you what I think of couples counseling. I think it's bullshit. I think that couples counseling is the death knell of a marriage. I think if you end up in counseling, the marriage is over. You're nothing more than a signal bell that the marriage has died, and you're just somebody who is feeding off the corpse of that dead marriage. This marriage-saving passion is not based on religious beliefs. Marriage, you're not saving a marriage. You're just a vulture there to feed on the remains. Nor do I think that divorce is morally wrong. Of course you don't, because you benefit financially from that divorce. If divorce was not such a big possibility, there would not be people going to see you to avoid it. My divorce busting bias. Divorce busting. All you do is focus on all the issues and bring them to the surface and get them more attention, which probably speeds the end of that marriage. It does not slow it down or bust it in any way, shape, or form. It's simply based on my firm conviction that the vast majority of problems that people are experiencing when they consider divorce are without question solvable. Of course you want to spread that nonsense, because then people will come to your office and pay you money to try and solve their problems, even though they all get divorced in the end anyway. Yeah, they're real solvable problems. Yes. Solve them? No. You'll get divorced anyway, and even if you do stay together, the problems aren't solved. The people just end up staying and find some way to adjust and adapt and end up being miserable the entire time they're married. Ooh, goody. Where can I sign up? Over the years, I've had countless experiences of helping near-the-brink couples reinvest in their marriages and fall back in love again. That being said, there's one particular situation that I find particularly challenging. I refer to it as the walk-away wife syndrome. I refer to it as a gift. A gift. The walk-away wife syndrome is absolutely a gift. What would be even more of a gift is if there was the no-wife syndrome, meaning no women wanted to get married. But of course, they want to get married so they can get the free goodies and the free shit and half of your stuff. Of course. Free for them, of course. Costs you a hell of a lot, but they don't give a shit because they are psychopaths. Reinvest in their marriages. Any marriages she thinks lasted. I bet if she checked in with people that she counseled 10 years ago, if she's even been counseling that long, she'd find that the majority of them were already divorced. Do you know that 2/3 of all divorces that are filed in our country are filed by women? You think it's that low? That's a cooked number, and it's a lie. It's like 90%, sweetheart. That number is a fabricated lie. 90% of all marriages that file for divorce are filed by women. Don't give me that 2/3 bullshit. It's 90%. They're not even 1/3 of men are dumb enough to want to file when they know they would lose all their shit. Are you kidding me? This is not to say that women take their commitment to their marriages lightly. 93.4% of all first marriages end within 10 years. They don't make it past the 10-year mark. And you're trying to tell me that women do not take their commitment to marriage lightly? Are you kidding me? Oh, that's not to say that women don't take their marriages lightly. They don't. Most women believe that they have tried everything humanly possible to turn things around. Oh, no, they don't. What are you talking about, you feminist cunt? You're clearly just a disinformation junkie trying to spin a narrative that makes women look wonderful and blameless, and that they're just victims of circumstance and bad luck. Give me a fucking break. Most women believe they've tried everything humanly possible to turn things around before throwing in the towel. No, they haven't. Women don't try it. They just get married, and then the first little sign of trouble, they get divorced. That's it. That's the majority of them. And the few that do go to counseling is because they just want to tell themselves that they've tried everything so that they can then justify getting divorced. So they haven't tried anything. They haven't tried everything. They haven't tried anything legitimate. Nonetheless, women are walking away from their marriages in droves. So doesn't that mean they're not taking it seriously? Because we go back 100 years, marriage was like 5-6%. It was like a very low number, and now it's like 93.4%. Are you kidding me? They take it seriously. Yeah, right. Why? Although there are a variety of reasons that, of course, I will not name because they would make women look bad, that might account for this mass exiting. You mean exodus? There is one reason that in my mind stands out above the rest. And what might that be? Because you're not, of course, not going to name the rest. During the early years of marriage, a woman tends to be the emotional caretaker of her relationship, meaning she's the emotional force that drives emotion in the relationship, keeps it alive in the relationship. She's the heart of the marriage. Of course, women are always painted as being the heart, the core, the foundation of marriage and everything. Men, of course, no, not men. Men are not the most important part of the equation. Of course not. Even though we want men and women to be equal in a relationship, it's the woman that's the most important. I see. She makes certain her marriage remains a priority. Her marriage is a priority? Then what the fuck she's doing going out to work all day? And he gets home to an empty house and no food. And she's basically indulging in pretending to be a man and pretending to have some kind of career that makes her feel so fulfilled. Meanwhile, at the end of the day, when she's paid for private school or whatever and paid for her daycare and her nanny and all other shit, she's actually lost money. Give me a break. Ay. Ridiculous. She makes certain her marriage remains a priority, insisting on quality time together. Who are you talking about? Women today are the laziest generation of women in the world. They put zero effort into the relationship. It's clear that the majority of them are just getting married so they can bide their time until they've been married long enough to get a nice chunk of change and alimony and half of his shit. Or if they can make it to the 10-year mark, they can get money forever. When a woman feels close to her husband, all is right in the world. What are you talking about? This woman's making these huge generalizations. What women are you talking about? How many women have you dated, lady? I mean, is this just some disinformation crap? Are you writing a romance novel? Because this sounds like some bullshit from a romance novel that you took and are now spinning into pro-woman propaganda bullshit. However, if the marriage takes a back seat to other commitments, like her getting a job and trying to have a career and be a mother, yeah, that kind of backseat, she pursues her husband for more connection by having frequent heart-to-heart talks. Yeah, right. What heart-to-hearts? Heart-to-hearts. Where she's not happy, where she is not fulfilled, where she needs more, because women always need more. Yes, I need more. I need you to love me and rub my feet and bring me wine. I just made a video about this entitled Women Want Men to Jump Through Hoops. And they do. They're never happy. Whatever they get, it's not enough. They always need more. Women are like a bottomless fucking pit. If these tete-a-tetes are successful, the marriage blossoms. And of course, that depends on the man. It's not about the woman. She's always trying, and the man is just this lazy slob who isn't making any real effort. And the message that is implied here is that men have to try harder. But women, they're perfect. They're fine. They're doing everything they need to do. It's the man that's the problem. I see. If not, her complaints are no longer confined to her feeling unimportant. Oh, her complaints! I just said it. I was perfectly right. I was 100% right. All this woman's trying to do is paint women as the perfect creatures in the relationship, and men are just these lazy slobs that aren't pulling their weight and making the same amount of effort that the woman is making in the relationship. And she has complaints. Well, what about his complaints? Oh, he shouldn't have any complaints. Women are perfect. What is this article all about? Women's complaints and nothing about men's complaints. It's totally one-sided. I hate this feminist bullshit. They always talk about equality, but they're in no way about equality. That's just a smokescreen to hide the fact that they're 100% pro-women, 100% for pushing women's issues, 100% for female superiority. If not, her complaints are no longer confined to her feeling unimportant. Yeah, her complaints about every motherfucking thing under the sun to shit test him and really to aggravate him to the point where he can't take it anymore and he wants to shoot himself in the fucking head, which is what a lot of guys do, by the way, because 87% of suicides are men. She begins to find fault with many other aspects of their relationship. Of course, that's his fault for not listening to her complaints. It's not her fault. Oh, no, the woman is not to blame. It's the man that's making her complain and nitpick. I see. He hears, if I had known what kind of father you'd be, I'd never have had children with you. Because that's what she said. We're supposed to hear something else? Or what can't you pick up after yourself? Oh, God, there's typos. Lady, edit your own fucking work. I'll edit it for you. Or why can't you pick up after yourself? You're just one of the kids. Yeah, it's our fault she talks to us like that and talks down to us like that poor dude in that TV show Everybody Loves Raymond, where that poor motherfucker went out every day and earned a living while his bitch wife complained that he didn't do enough around the house, but she wasn't earning one fucking nickel. Suffice it to say, these complaints hardly prompt him to want to spend more time with her, but that's his fault too. That's his fault too, because he didn't listen to her, and he didn't put any effort into the relationship. She put all the effort into the relationship, and he put in zero. So this is his fault as well. And so she quietly plans her exit strategy, which is his fault as well, because she wouldn't need to exit if he'd listened to her, and she wouldn't have needed to complain and nag and cajole him and insult him if he had just listened in the first place. It's all his fault. She tells herself, I'll leave when my youngest goes to college, or I'm going to find my soulmate, and then I'll leave this marriage. That really sounds like working on a relationship. Yeah, first she nags, then she complains, then she decides to leave because her nagging and complaining didn't get him to listen, and so now she's justified in exiting the relationship. Yeah, that really sounds like real, honest effort to contribute to the marriage. It doesn't sound like self-destructive actions that destroy the marriage. No. And that's his fault as well, you know. Even if she is acting self-destructive, that's his fault because he didn't listen to her. Talk about a total lack of self-awareness on the part of this dumb fucking author. Ay. As soon as I can support myself financially, I'm out of here. Of course, you don't really need to. This is a totally disingenuous piece of crap bullshit. This sentence, as soon as I can support myself financially, I'm out of here. Bitch, what are you talking about? So you don't need to. You mean you want to be there as long as possible so you can guarantee you get the maximum amount of alimony and that you are assured to get all his shit. I see. Exit strategies often take years to execute. Oh, do they? Really? So she stays in the marriage, even though she's not happy. She bitches, she moans, she complains all the time so she can make him as unhappy as possible, even though she knows she's going to leave. So now all she's doing is being bitter and angry and trying to make him miserable. And she's staying just because it's not the right time yet to leave. How dishonest of her. How dishonest and premeditated of her to stay in that fucking relationship with which is most women, by the way, when she doesn't want to be there just so she can benefit financially and make sure that she doesn't have any problems after. This is, of course, women. This is, of course, how women are. I've told you before. I'll tell you again. All they do is think about themselves. They're total narcissists. The world revolves around them. Their kids are nothing more than extensions of them. Their husband is nothing more than an extension of them. That's it. The absence of complaints has their husbands believing that things have improved. That's bullshit. They never stop complaining, you dumb bitch. This just shows how much experience you have with women. You've never dated or been married to one. They're out of the doghouse. No news is good news, they tell themselves as they obviously continue to lead separate lives. And whose fault is that? Oh, it's the man's fault, of course. It's not the woman's fault who bitch and moan and complain instead of doing something that would actually help the marriage because, she just has a vagina. So she is in no way obligated to do anything except have a vagina and be there physically. It's up to him to do everything in objective terms to contribute to the relationship because her job is to contribute emotionally, something she also doesn't actually do except in the negative as she bitches and moans and complains about her disappointment in the relationship and it's not what she expected it to be and she wants him to change and do this and that and this and that. Things, by the way, that she had no problem with before they got married. But then D-Day arrives and their wives inform them that the marriages are over and of course it's his fault, triggering shock and devastation. Why didn't you tell me you were this unhappy? Oh, I did tell you because I spent 10 years bitching, moaning, and complaining, but you didn't leave because you didn't want to lose all your shit, and I stayed because, well, I wanted to essentially benefit as much as possible financially. So now I'm leaving because it's the best time for me. I stayed all those years, but I was dishonest. I didn't love you all that time. I just stayed because it was convenient for me. I see. These men protest words that finally nail the marital coffin shut. Boy, all that counseling you gave them didn't seem to help that much, honey. It's then that they start to recognize the importance of their wives and their children. Oh, it's his fault! Look at that! Look at that! Oh, it's always his fault. So essentially, he wasn't recognizing his wife's importance and the children's importance. It had nothing to do with all her bitching and moaning and not actually doing anything to address the problems in the relationship. Even though she's supposed to be the emotional caretaker in the relationship, she did jack shit to actually help things. And in fact, all her actions, the nagging, the complaining, all they did was aggravated and agitated her husband away from her and created the very separation which led to the divorce. Oh, but that's his fault too. I see. I hope you men out there are paying very careful attention to this. It's said that people don't change until they hit rock bottom. Oh, he had to change, right? Oh, she was perfectly happy with him when she married him. And what you marry is what you get. But somehow, no, he has to change. Have you noticed that women want you to change? They marry you, and then you're supposed to change. But didn't you marry me because you loved me for me? Oh, no, I just married you because you had some kind of potential. But I want you to be something else, of course. And, I love DIY jobs, and I like to redecorate shit. So I'm going to marry you, and then I'm going to change you in what I want you to be. I'm going to change you into what I want you to be. But that's not how marriage works. Oh, but that's not her fault. It's his fault for not being exactly what she wanted. I see. Ay. It is said that people don't change until they hit rock bottom, and I can tell you firsthand that the bottom doesn't get any lower than the earth beneath these men's feet. Yes, these evil, horrible men. Shame on you men, you scumbag motherfuckers. It's all your fault. The threat of divorce generates true soul searching. True soul searching for the man, not the woman, of course, because she's incapable of soul searching. If she was, she would have found better options, better solutions than then just bitching and moaning and then staying quiet all that time if a woman is actually capable of doing that. And then she did quiet down and essentially resign herself to a crap marriage until she had chosen the most convenient time for her to get out. Even if that was the case, that's not the solution. It's just ignoring the problem. And that's what she's doing. Oh, but it's her fault. It's his fault, too. That's also his fault. Right. He wasn't reading the signs. He wasn't reading her mind. He wasn't seeing what was going on and recognizing what was really happening. I see. These are the men who readily schedule appointments for therapy, sign up for marriage seminars. Yeah, because now that they've been told something is actually wrong, they want to fix it instead of bitch, moan, complain, or just stay silent and ignore the problem until it's convenient for them to get the hell out. Because, and why didn't they know there was a fucking problem? Because she didn't tell him. Unbelievable, but that's his fault too. Read every self-help book they can get their hands on, seek spiritual connection, and even risk vulnerability by discussing the feelings with friends and family. Gradually become the husbands these women have been waiting for. Have been waiting for. What do you mean been waiting for? Why'd they marry them in the first place? What do you mean been waiting for? I don't understand this. If he's not what you want before you marry him, you don't marry him. Okay? You don't marry someone expecting to change them. You can't change people. Only people can change themselves. You can't go into a marriage and someone isn't what you want, but you think you can change them. You can't. The marriage will fail. And it's your fault for marrying somebody who wasn't what you wanted. It's not their fault for not changing into what you want them to be. Pay attention, guys. This is how women think. But for so many women, it's too little too late. It's their own goddamn fault for marrying somebody who wasn't what they wanted. Or who wasn't what they needed. Or, I know this is not going to last. If I stay in this marriage, you will go back to your old shenanigans. These women get married, knowing deep down that divorce is the eventual outcome. And they're fine with that because they get all those free goodies and all that free shit. If they didn't have that winning lottery ticket to look forward to, they would be more careful about who they married and why they got married. And they wouldn't be as prone to marry people who are not what they want, expecting they can change them, and deep down knowing that they can't, and then they'll end in divorce. But that's what they want because they get the free goodies. Which, though completely understandable, is nonetheless tragic. That's because rather than feign appropriate husband behavior, appropriate husband behavior? And tell us, please, what appropriate husband behavior is, lady. Most of these men sincerely undergo a personal transformation that shifts their priorities forever. You mean going to work and earning a living so that she can have the money to buy her handbags and her shoes and her fucking lattes and her crullers or wherever at the fucking Starbucks so her ass can continue to get bigger and bigger every motherfucking year? You mean those priorities while she bitches and moans that I'm not around enough, that I'm not emotionally in touch or in tune enough with the relationship, which you just said she doesn't even do for the last few years or even last decade, as she's just biding her time until she gets out. So she just ends up ignoring the friggin' problem. But it's his fault. That's his fault too, of course. And he has the wrong priorities. Yeah, he shouldn't be trying to work for a living and earn money and support his family. No, but I thought she was the emotional caretaker. Oh, but now he has to be the emotional caretaker too. I see. So not only is he supposed to do his job, but he's supposed to do her job as well. Wonderful. What other responsibilities do you want to push onto men so that women don't have to do a goddamn thing, huh? Or take any responsibility for their partner relationship? They typically make great second husbands. Great second. So this is essentially routine now. Yeah, you've got your break-in husband and then your second husband. If he doesn't work out, you get to steal more shit from him. Every time I near walk-away wife or husband is in my office, I'm determined to do what I can to open her heart and mind to see the profound changes in her man. Oh my God, profound changes. Give me a break. I'm often successful. I doubt you are. You're successful in the moment, and then 5-10 years down the road, they still get divorced anyway. But I must admit, this is one of the trickiest clinical knots to untie. Yeah, you're such a brilliant genius. I'd prefer that couples really grasp the concept that time together is of utmost importance and that nagging, though well-intended, almost always backfires. You just said the nagging is the man's fault. You said it's his fault for not listening. And so it's perfectly acceptable for her to nag and to whine and to bitch. And if he doesn't listen, that's his fault. And if she goes silent, that's his fault too, because he should recognize that her silence is a signal to him that something is wrong in the relationship. And God forbid you go to him and tell him that there's something actually wrong. That's why I'm a huge proponent of marriage education. It's a little late to get educated on a subject when you're already involved in the fucking doing of it for 15, 20 years. Falling in love is easy. Yeah, it's too easy. Choose not to. Staying in love is another matter. People need information and skills to stay in love, which, of course, you provide for a fee. If I had my way, I'd teach myself out of a job. No, you wouldn't. No, you wouldn't. Because your job is bullshit. It's a pseudoscience anyway, and you're making a good living at it by peddling this snake oil. So this is how ladies are, guys. Even if you are the man she married, that's not enough. Because she's going to expect you to change. She's going to expect you to become something else during the marriage, to prove your love or to prove that you care about her, to prove your commitment to the relationship, to become the man that she wants. You're supposed to become something different than what she married, even though she married you being who you are. So doesn't that imply that she wants you for who you are? No. No, it doesn't imply that. It doesn't mean anything like that. It should, but it doesn't mean that. She wants you to be something different, and she's going to try and change you. And of course, she's not going to be successful, and the marriage will end, and it's all designed to be that way. Marriage is a bad bet. It's designed to fail these days. All the indoctrination has made women into these cunts who will never accept you as for who you are. It will not succeed. It will never succeed. And even if you do manage to stay married, that doesn't mean you're a success story, because the majority of people are miserable. And it's no surprise why. After reading this shit, the walk-away wife syndrome. I wish more women would walk the fuck away and put their money where their mouth is, but they never will, of course, because they want and need our shit. They're addicted to it like a heroin addict is addicted to that needle. I am the MGTOW philosopher, and I wish you a good day. Take care.